How's it going, guys? I'm Robert from Machado Visuals, and I know I've been away for a bit, but I recently had the opportunity to shoot a commercial as part of the Coca-Cola Regal Films contest. For those that don't know, it's a yearly contest that provides opportunities for student filmmakers to showcase their talent. This year, around 30 schools sent in over 800 scripts, and one script from UNLV made it into the top 5, which meant that we were given $15,000 to actually produce the spot. If we win, our film will screen across all Regal theaters before the feature presentation. For our camera package, we rocked the Red Gemini, rated at 800 ISO. We were fortunate enough to use my brand new Vista Primes on this project, and they were just a treat. They have a great characteristic look that doesn't look overly clinical with incredible fall off. On our prep day, we messed around with a couple different camera builds, and we finally found one that I was happy with. We used the 4.7-inch Red Touch monitor on the operator side solely for camera settings while I operated off the Small HD 503. On the AC side, we added a Small HD 703 so that my first could pull focus alongside the camera. Speaking of focus, we used the Nucleus M and we experienced zero issues on set. Some of you may remember me griping about the Nucleus M on a previous video, but I've since actually learned how to use it, and that was also due to a firmware issue and has since been fixed. To power all of our accessories, I used my wooden camera D-box with a shark fin to mount two 150 watt-hour gold mount batteries. There were two main locations in the spot, and we helped visually distinguish the two locations through color and visual style. We used a lot of warmer tones and handheld movement in the thrift shop, while the movie theater has a much more saturated and polished look. Our thrift store location was actually really massive, so we decided to shoot up against a corner to make the space feel a lot smaller than it actually was. Our department did a fantastic job of creating and dressing a set that felt curated and cozy.
Taking a picture? Video.
It's a video, but do it for the vine. Do it for the vine, yeah. Oh yeah, there it is.
Magical.
There you go, there's a transition shot for you.
The scene was actually a night for day, and we wanted to convey a late afternoon day interior, so one of my main goals was to convey that specific time of day in the most organic way possible. Since we had to shoot during the night, I decided to use mainly HMI and daylight sources. Since we were shooting against a wall with no visible windows, I chose to place most of our lights on the opposite side of the wall to emulate a large window light. I wanted a warm wash covering the back bookshelf and gradually use cooler temperatures towards the foreground. I metered everything in between a 4 and 5/6 so that the actors had a little bit more leeway depending on their blocking, and also so that everything in the scene would be pretty much even. Our main key was an M18 blasting through a 4x4 frame with 216 and further diffused with an 8x8 frame. We also used a Joker 800 with half CTS and our own open 4x frame with gaff tape to give a little bit shape to the wall and add texture to the background. Since all of our lights were coming in from camera right, there was a ton of contrast, and it was a little bit moodier than I would have liked, so I set up a 120D camera left on a pigeon plate blasting into a 4x balance as my fill. Since everything was pretty much globally lit, we were pretty much set for all of our setups. Danny's close-up utilized the 8x frame as a near-side edge, and I brought the 4x bounce in for fill. Alyssa's key was mainly playing off the Area 650 with half CTB, and I normally wouldn't light women with a frontal hard light, but we found an angle and a quality of light that worked well with Alyssa's face and also felt organic. If you'd like to see a detailed walkthrough of Flag Forest, go ahead and check the links in the description. I'll include a quick video I took off my cell phone.
So this is a double. It's red, that's how you know it's a double.
Is that red or?
Yeah, it's red.
Huh.
Just like what you're shooting on right now. That's a red.
Oh, got him.
The theater location we shot at was one of Regal's newly branded theaters, and we wanted our film to reflect the new modern look. The lobby renovations are much darker than the classic Regal cinemas, and this helped add even more contrast, not only to the scene, but also from the previous scene's warmer color palette. I won't go over all the shots in the lobby scene, but I would like to detail the classic sip shot. This is usually the defining moment of any Coke ad. To help push the Coke branding, we placed our talent center frame surrounded by movie theater posters, which happened to be outlined in red, These actually came in a little hot, so I added a 0.6 ND gel to nearly all the posters in frame. This helped knock down intensity so that they didn't detract from the main focus, our actress enjoying a refreshing sip of Coke. Since this is a beauty shot, we lit our talent with an 8x frame, keyed with my Kino Flow 4-bank with crossfade tubes. I also used another 4-foot crossfade as a slight edge light, and this gave a great hint of specularity in Alyssa's hair. We also added a few splashes of color in the background, otherwise the bottom of the frame would have turned into a black hole. We stuck a few RGB quasars in the back. I chose the orange to represent the Regal and blue as a complementary color to the orange, which also acted as an extension of the large movie poster in the back. The other practicals in the background were actually fixtures already in the location. They almost look like hanging quasars, so it was great being able to utilize them in the shot. The theater scene was probably the simplest scene we did. We just sent our Joker 800 into a 12x ultra bounce for a soft ambient glow. We also had a grip wave a single net in front of the light to give a slight variance in intensity. To underexpose the image, I added 4 stops of ND and white balance to 3200 Kelvin so that the light would lean more towards blue and emulate screen light. I also set up an Aries 650 with full CTB to double the movie projector and hair light for our talent. The light was set up with a flicker box to automate a flicker effect. The specific one we were using was a Flicker Master, and it gave us precise control over the randomness in intensity. I actually wanted this light to flare up the top of the frame to help build the effect of a movie projector, but I wasn't getting nearly as much flare as I wanted to since it was off axis. So I added a quarter black chrome mist filter to help the flare catch the edge of the frame. I was a big fan of how the scene turned out, and I thought it was a great scene to end on. This was such a fun project, and I was thrilled to be a part of it. I didn't hesitate to jump in because I knew how much of a huge deal it was for UNLV Film. I wish I had opportunities like this when I was still in film school. This was easily one of the largest and smoothest productions I've been on, and it was a student set. I also want to give a huge shout out to all the crew on this project. It was great working with old friends and meeting new ones. Every department was firing on all cylinders and quite honestly made my job super easy. Also, kudos to Nicole and Lily for tackling such a humongous project. If you haven't already, give some love to our spot on Regal's YouTube channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. If we win, our film will be shown before the movies at Regal cinemas all over the country, and it would mean the world seeing all of our hard work show up on the big screen. I think all of the finalists did a spectacular job this year, and it's cool competing against some of the top film schools in the country. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.